Earlier, I checked out a Soviet fighter jet. Normally, I avoid aircraft because they tend to be money pits. But this one seems like something I could turn a big, fast profit if everything's right. So I asked my friend Matt to come down and take a look at it.
Hey guys, how we doing?
Doing great, man.
Rick, good to see you again. Chum, how you doing?
Welcome to the danger zone.
Yeah. I'm a Marine F-18 pilot with 17 years experience, a graduate of the Naval Fighter Weapons School at Top Gun, and former U.S. Navy Blue Angel pilot.
So what do you know about it?
So this is an awesome jet. This is an L-39 Albatros. It's from the former Soviet bloc, built in Czechoslovakia. There's a couple thousand of them made, and it's the advanced jet trainer for the Soviet bloc planes. There's several third world countries that still use this, Georgia, Libya.
Would they put bombs on it, things like that?
You know, it'd be a little different. This is a fuel tank. You could take this off, strap on a gun pod, a missile, or potentially some bombs right onto the pylon. You can pretty much load this thing up.
Wow.
After the Soviet Union broke apart, it became a very popular aircraft in the United States. You're not gonna get your hands on an F-18 or F-16, so this is the perfect secondary choice. Rick, what kind of concerns do you have here buying this aircraft?
I don't know nothing about a jet.
That's a good start.
Maybe look it over, look under the hood, kick the tires. I just don't know.
The main things that will really determine the value, number one, we're gonna look at the engine. See if there's any leaks, any signs of leaks. Everything looks pretty normal in there.
Okay.
Then we're gonna look at the airframe. The paint job looks really good. Sometimes you can see corrosion on there. I don't see any signs of that. The Soviet Union builds very different aircraft than the US, and I'm actually really anxious to see how the gauges are arranged, how they have their cockpits set up. We've got our standard steam gauges. Everything's been converted to English, so that makes it real easy to fly. An example of why this aircraft can be used in wartime, the panel between my legs here on the bottom, you'll see various weapon switches for the rockets, the gun, to drop bombs. You'll also see a chaff flare switch. So say you find yourself in a scenario where you've got a heat-seeking missile being shot at you, you could start putting out a bunch of flares. The flares will decoy heat-seeking missiles, and then you're saying a prayer, hoping you're surviving.
Awesome.
You know, everything looks good to go. We've checked the inside, the outside of the plane, all the paperwork. I think the last thing we need to do is go flying. So who's first? Chum, how about it?
Probably not. I don't have insurance.
Rick, you want to go flying with me?
No.
Not at all?
Not at all.
How come?
I'm scared. It's that simple.
Okay.
All right, well, you guys have fun. We'll be waiting for you outside. It's gonna be awesome to see this jet in action. And the fact that I might actually buy this thing blows my mind. Good luck.
Better you than me.
I've inspected the exterior and the interior of the plane. We've looked at the logbooks. Everything works. Now it's time to take the jet flying. Rick and Chum are missing out. Let's rock and roll. On the flight today, it's just like test driving a car. We're gonna check all the instruments, make sure everything works, make sure the fuel transfers. You know, we're gonna maneuver the aircraft. We're gonna do some aileron rolls where we're just gonna roll the jet 360 degrees. Feedback works great. All the indicators are working up here. Very well maintained, everything works. It's a great jet.
Yeah, I just don't think it's smart getting in a 25-year-old Russian jet.
Yeah, I think he's nuts for flying jets for a living.
Oh, yeah, baby. We had a great time out there. Everything worked as advertised, so it's very well maintained.
So how was that?
That was awesome.
Well, you made it back, so that's a good sign.
So what do you think, man?
This is a great plane. Everything worked. You know, as far as value, I've seen the L-39 go anywhere from about $100,000 to upwards close to $1 million. You know, I think as far as value, 170 to 180,000, right in there.
I think he kind of lowballed the price a little bit, in my opinion. I think he may not be real current on what the market can get.
And if I bought this thing and it took a while to sell it, how much is maintenance on the thing just sitting on the ground?
You know, you're gonna need to hangar it, so that's gonna be an expense. You obviously don't want this out in the elements. And then the other expense is the maintenance. You need to fly this jet, otherwise it doesn't work.
And how much is that?
For round figures, about 5,000.
A month?
You bet.
Whoa, okay. Thanks a lot, man. I really
bet.
appreciate it.
Thanks, Rick. See you, chum.
Aircraft is one of the most risky things you can buy. There's always hidden expenses, but they can bring huge profits, especially a piece of eye candy like this. So what do you want for it?
I'd like to get 200,000 out of it. I think it's a fair price.
The buying it's not the problem, it's owning it's the expensive part. And the scary thing about this is how much it would cost me if I didn't sell it real quick.
If you make a decent offer, I could actually hanger it for you. That might take some of your carrying expenses out of the equation.
But it would be pretty badass to own a jet, Rick. It's a big boy sport.
Yeah, this is, well, it's the ultimate toy.
We can start at the low end. I mean, if you give me 150,000, then I'd definitely consider that.
I'd go 80 grand, but I wouldn't go no more.
Hey, man, if you don't want to be the only pawn shop in the world to own a jet, I understand.
Just the more I think about it, the more I think this, it's just too much for me. It's beyond what I know. I really believe if I start getting mixed up with this thing, in the end, I'm gonna lose my ass. Have a nice day, man.
Fair enough,
I hope
man.
you sell it.
Thank you.
I was so tempted to buy this jet, but ultimately, it's just too risky.
You could be my wingman anytime, Rick.
Shut up, Chop.